All right, look, have you been to a wedding before? Yes? So why are you still standing? Sit down. Nothing's going to happen until you sit down. You want to give these flowers to her? Because I know they're pretty and all, but they're in the way. That works now. Now look, we've all been invited here today to witness and celebrate the uniting in marriage of Jaclynn and Collin. They're taking the first step of their new beginning. This is the beginning of their new life together. The ability and desire for one human being to love another is perhaps the most precious and fulfilling gift that's been entrusted to us. It's an all-consuming task, a lifelong endeavor. The journey we've been preparing for all of our lives. Loving someone is a reason to stretch beyond our limits, to become more for the sake of the other. It's to look into the soul of your beloved and accept what you see. Loving is the ultimate commitment which challenges humans to become all that we are meant to be. Now, as they join in marriage today, Jaclynn and Collin are announcing to the world that they are welcoming that challenge. We're here today to celebrate the love which Jaclynn and Collin have for each other and to give special recognition to their decision to commit their lives and accept each other totally. Now, Collin, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and please don't answer till I ask you to answer. Do you, Collin, take Jaclynn to be your lawfully wedded wife, to share your life openly, standing with her in sickness and in health, in joy and in sorrow, in hardship and in ease, to cherish and to love forevermore? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Now, Collin, do you also promise to always allow Jaclynn to be Jaclynn? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Now, do you, Jaclynn, take Collin to be your lawfully wedded husband, to share your life openly, standing with him in sickness and in health, in joy and in sorrow, in hardship and in ease, to cherish and to love forevermore? If so, please say, I do.
I do. I do.
All right, Jaclynn, do you also promise to allow Collin to always be this guy that he claims to be right now? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Now that they've known each other for years, through the first glance and acquaintance to the moment of commitment. At some moment, these guys decided to marry. Where's Dad? Dad, was it when you had enough money to pay for this that you decided?
No.
No.
They've been waiting a long time.
They'd be waiting. They're still waiting? I have 3 daughters. I know what it feels like. All right, at some moment, they decided to marry. From that moment of yes to this moment of yes, indeed, you've been making promises and agreements in an informal way. All those conversations that were held riding in a car or over a meal or during long walks. All those sentences that began with, when we're married, and continued with, I will, and you will, and we will. Those late night talks that included maybe someday and somehow and maybe, and all those promises that are unspoken matters of the heart. Just 2 people working out what they want, what they believe, what they hope for each other.
That's perfect.
All these common things and more are the real process of a wedding. The symbolic vows that you're about to make are a way of saying to one another, you know all those things we promised and hoped and dreamed. Well, I meant it all, every word. Did somebody call the police on them?
I think it's appropriate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There they are.
Money well spent.
The one emergency of winter.
All right, shut the thing off now. Be nice. Listen, one time I did a wedding out in Plant City when they had the air show. And those jets were going right over our head. All right. Can you both look at one another? And I want you to remember this moment in time. Before this moment, you've been many things to one another. Acquaintance, friend, companion, lover, dancing partner, and even teacher. For you've learned much from one another in these last few years. You've learned that good company and friendship count for more than wealth, good looks, or position. And you've learned that marriage is a maze into which we wander, a maze that is best got through with a great companion. Now you shall say a few words that take you across the threshold of life, and things will never quite be the same between you. For after these vows, you shall say to the world, Collin is my husband, and Jaclynn is my wife. Now, Collin, I want you to look at me for a second before we begin here. You see, I'm a pastor, although there's not a lot of religion in here, but that makes you standing on the left hand of God. You agree with that? That means, Jaclynn, you're standing on the right hand of God, right? You agree with that? Now, people ask me why. Well, we can say tradition, you grant that, but tradition has to start somewhere. There has to be a reason that Collin's standing on the left hand of God and you're standing on the right hand of God. And a reason that's happening, Collin, is, I'm sorry to tell you this, but even God knows, my friend, that after today, you're never going to be standing on the right side of anything, so you may as well get used to where you are. So, here comes the big time. I want you to look directly at Jaclynn and to repeat after me. Jaclynn,
Jaclynn,
as your husband,
as your husband,
I promise to care for you,
I promise to care for you,
trust your love,
trust your love,
be responsive to your needs,
be responsive to your needs,
communicate my feelings,
communicate my feelings,
and behave in a way
and behave in a way
that shows my love
that shows my love
and respect.
and respect.
I say these things
I say these things
because I love you
because I love you
and want to live out the days of my life
and want to live out the days of my life
with you.
with you.
Now, Jaclynn, would you look directly at Collin and repeat after me? Collin,
Collin,
as your wife,
as your wife,
I promise to care for you,
I promise to care for you,
trust your love,
trust your love,
be responsive to your needs,
be responsive to your needs,
communicate my feelings,
communicate my feelings,
and behave in a way
and behave in a way
that shows my love
that shows my love
and respect.
and respect.
I say these things
I say these things
because I love you
because I love you
and want to live out the days of my life
and want to live out the days of my life
with you.
with you.
They did good, didn't they? Now, know now, before you go further, that since your lives are crossed in this life, you form ties between each other. And as you seek to enter the state of matrimony, you should strive to make real the ideals which give meaning to both this ceremony and the institution of marriage. With full awareness, know that within this circle, you're not only declaring your intent to be handfasted before your friends and family, but you speak that intent also to your creative higher powers. The promises made today and the ties that are bound here greatly strengthen your union. They will cross the years and lives of each soul's growth. So I ask you both, do you still seek to enter into this ceremony?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, in times past, it was believed that the human soul shared characteristics with all things divine. It's this belief which assigned virtues to cardinal directions, east, south, west, and north. It's in this tradition that a blessing is offered in support of this ceremony. So, could you please hold hands? Blessed be this union with the gifts of the East. Communication of the heart, mind, and body. Fresh beginnings with the rising of each sun. The knowledge of the growth found in sharing of silences. Blessed be this union with the gifts of the South. Warmth of heart and home. The heat of the heart's passion, the light created by both, to lighten the darkest of times. Blessed be this union with gifts of the West, the deep commitments of the lake, the swift excitement of the river, the refreshing cleansing of the rain, the all-encompassing passion of the sea. Blessed be this union with the gifts of the North, firm foundation on which to build, fertility of the fields to enrich your lives, a stable home to which you may always return. Now, each of these blessings from the four cardinal directions emphasizes those things which will help you build a happy and a successful union. Yet, they're only tools. Tools which you must use together in order to create what you seek in this union. I bid you to look into each other's eyes. Collin, will you cause her pain?
I may.
Is that in your intent?
No.
Jaclynn, will you cause him pain?
I may.
Is that your intent?
No.
Will you share each other's pain and seek to ease it?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hand him that cord?
It's in your hand.
He's going in his pocket looking for money. Yeah, I'll take that too. Jaclynn, will you share his laughter?
Yes.
Collin, will you share her laughter?
Yes.
Will both of you look for the brightness in life and the positive in each other?
Yes.
Yes.
Jaclynn, will you burden him?
I may.
Is that your intent?
No.
Collin, will you burden her?
I may.
Is that your intent?
No.
Will you share the burdens of each so that your spirits may grow in this union?
Yes.
Yes.
Jaclynn, will you share his dreams?
Yes.
Collin, will you share her dreams?
Yes.
Will you dream together to create new realities and hopes?
Yes.
Now, Collin, will you cause her anger?
I may.
Is that your intent?
No.
Jaclynn, will you cause him anger?
I may.
Is that your intent?
No.
Will you take the heat of anger and use it to temper the strength of this union?
Yes.
Jaclynn, will you honor him?
Yes.
Collin, will you honor her?
Yes.
Will you ever break that honor?
No.
You see, I threw him off there. Okay, and so the sixth binding is made. Now, let me explain to you a little bit about what hand fasting is, so that everybody understands it. Hand fasting is a ritual that was, you see, before they had ministers and marriage licenses and things like that. People would do hand fasting to signify that they were a married couple, that they were a united couple. So what would happen is, you see, they would do this hand fasting, and then they would tie a knot. And that's where the term comes from, incidentally. I'm going to tie the knot. It comes from hand fasting. What would happen now is this binding would stay in place. Collin and Jaclynn would leave us and go do something we don't really want to mention. And then they would come out together, like up there, while all of us were partying. They were doing their thing, we were partying. That's where the reception comes from.
Oh my God.
Now, while they were, once they were done, and it depended how long it would take, you know. Some people were faster than others, and Collin said 2 minutes.
Don't speak.
But Jaclynn would come out and say, look at everybody and say, yes, the marriage is consummated. Then the bindings were taken off. That's how it works traditionally. But we're not going to do that today.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that.
You don't mind, do you? We don't do that. Now, let me see this thing here so I can tie a knot somewhere along this line. Give me the beginning. And of course, they didn't have fancy things like this either. It was just a rope. Okay, go ahead and take your hands out. So now what we have here is we have this big long, see, with a knot tied on the bottom. And as long as this couple stays together, this knot remains tied. Now, what I do with this now, usually they put it on the altar, but what I do with it is I do this, you see, and then I give this end to her, and I say, now you can take him anywhere you need him.
Oh. All right.
Honeymoon starting early.
What do we do with this?
Excuse me. All right. So, though we've heard the vows, which have been shared by Jaclynn and Collin, words often spoken are carried away on the wind. Therefore, the wedding ring is a visible symbol of the promises that have been made. So, who has Jaclynn's ring?
Rogers.
Pay attention.
You have Jaclyn's ring? You had, oh, he lost it. Let me see this ring. It's got some value, folks. I'm gonna.
Oh, no, we do that.
I won't do that. All right, Collin, as you place the ring on Jaclyn's finger, would you please repeat after me? Jaclynn,
Jaclynn,
with this ring,
with this ring,
I marry you
I marry you
and bind my life to yours.
and bind my life to yours.
It is a symbol
It is a symbol
of my eternal love,
of my eternal love,
my everlasting friendship,
my everlasting friendship,
and the promise of all my tomorrows.
and the promise of all my tomorrows.
Who has his ring?
Oh, we need that.
So, Jaclynn, as you place the ring on Collin's finger, would you please repeat after me? Collin,
Collin,
with this ring,
with this ring,
I marry you
I marry you
and bind my life to yours.
and bind my life to yours.
It is a symbol of my eternal love,
It is a symbol of my eternal love,
my everlasting friendship,
my everlasting friendship,
and the promise of all my tomorrows.
and the promise of all my tomorrows.
It's on there.
Okay.
No blood, she did that. Now, Jaclynn and Collin, may these wedding rings be a reminder of the commitment that you're making here today, and be as a testimony to all the world of your devotion in marriage. Jaclynn and Collin, you came here today in the presence of family and friends to express your love for and your commitment to each other. Your lives are forever changed. Now you can face your fears, for you each will be strength to the other. Now you can brave the wind, for you each will be shelter to the other. Now you can reap the rewards, for each of you will be partner to the other. Now, though you are two bodies, there is one life before you. And there in that life, may you always find love. Now, throughout the ceremony, Jaclynn and Collin have vowed in our presence to be loyal and loving towards each other. They have formalized the existence of the bond between them with words spoken and with the giving and receiving of rings. Therefore, it's my pleasure to pronounce them as husband and wife. Now, before you get kissy-kissy here, Collin, I'm going to move over here so he doesn't make a mistake and kiss me. All right.
That would
Collin.
be hard for me.
Now look, this is your first job as a husband. We can't have chicken pecking because she's not that fast with the shutter button over there. She can't get it in 2 seconds flat. So you gotta give her a nice little kissy kiss.
I think I can do that.
As a matter of fact, if you could make a little steam come out of her ear. So it's with great joy that I say, Collin, you may kiss with her.